Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to this week. Oh boy, what a week it's been. I rearranged my schedule this weekend, guys. And why did I do that? I did that so that I could watch the gold medal men's hockey game today. So normally Saturday is my day off. I do nothing on Saturday, but no, I did most of my scripting Saturday, the scripting I normally do today. I had a little bit left to do today, but not much. Oh boy, I feel like I've been cheated. I feel like I've been cheated. Looking at this game today, Canada outplayed the United States. Canada deserved the gold. And this isn't even a biased view, just from the general gameplay. So holy cow. We get a silver. The U.S., you see, this is why, and I mentioned that I don't like overtime. You know, some people love overtime. It's exciting. Of course it is. But sometimes, if you are that team that didn't dominate the game, sometimes the overtime can be a blessing for you, and you can end up stealing a victory. I don't feel like we were beaten by the U.S. team. We were beaten by the U.S. team's goaltender. So I'm just going to sort of say it there. Now, on brighter news, we got Wealthsimple. So Wealthsimple, guys, they currently have a contest on. So you get to spin a gold coin every day, get some entries, anywhere from 10 to 100,000. Now, the way today's gone, I am expecting a 10. I'm expecting a 10 here, guys, and I'm going to do it live. I'm going to do it live here in just a moment. All right, Wealthsimple, don't minimize yourself. All right, guys. Oh boy, here we are, and let's go this. Whoopsie. All right, here we go. Here we go. A 40. All right. That's so close to a 10. It might as well have been a 10. Oh my gosh, that's a low number. I think most of you are probably going to beat me today, so definitely put your numbers in the chat. Now, let me just point something out here. If you are not yet on Wealthsimple, first question I have is why not? Second question, or not a second question, more of a directive. Get your butt over on Wealthsimple. Here is the link. I'm dropping it into the chat here. Well, the Nightbot's going to drop it in, or hopefully, for some reason, the Nightbot seems to. Yeah, look at this. The Nightbot. Oh, there it is. All right, I was going to say. I was like, I spelled it right. So Wealthsimple, they are pretty much one of the best brokers out there. They're very friendly, very first-time investor friendly, pretty easy to navigate. I like them. They got a lot going for them, and they're commission free. So definitely get yourself over there. If you already have a broker, you can have multiple brokers. I think if you've never really sort of given them the time of day, give them a try. Give them a try. And here's the beautiful thing. When you fund your account over there, they will give you $25 if you use my link, and they'll also throw $25 back at the channel. So that's always a good thing as well. And once you get over there, spin that coin. We're running out of time. I believe that contest ends at the end of this month, and then they're going to draw from all those entries and give away 15 gold coins. So a total of $100,000 worth of coins. So, so what's that? Like, I don't know, $7,000-8,000 a coin. So nonetheless, I think it's oh my gosh, I had hair stuck on my eye. Nonetheless, I think it's a great thing to give a try, give a whirl to. Oh boy. All right, now. I think it was Scott. Scott, and I assume it's you. I did get that affiliate, that 25 came in, I think on Saturday. So hopefully you got it as well. So, I think it was you. All right, we don't really have a market to look at because it's the weekend. So let's jump into chat. Let's see how you guys are doing. Let's see how you guys are spinning. Jonathan is in first with Am I Late for Olympic-Sized Tariff? So yeah, that's another thing. The Supreme Court, they struck down those emergency tariffs that that Donald Trump had imposed on a lot of different countries, a lot on Mexico, a lot on Canada, and China as well. And he has, well, of course, Donald was not very happy about that. So he is using another statute to basically, and these are legal. This is legal. To basically hit a 15% global tariff, but it comes with a time limit. And you guys were mentioning a little bit about this on Friday. So it comes with 150 days. After 150 days, either the tariff falls or Congress has to vote for the tariff to continue. He's not going to get that vote. So basically, he's buying himself about 5 months to figure out what his next move will be. Now, you may be thinking, oh, great. Just when we thought we were getting a little bit of relief. Well, a lot of first of all of our things that are covered under CUSMA, so our free trade agreement, they're still perfectly tariff-free. No worries there. And a lot of the tariffs that were already on Canada, on the ones that, are not sectorial, basically they were higher than 15. So Canada does actually get a little bit of relief. We're better off, even with this 15% global tariff, we're still better off than we were before this. So it is still a small win. It's still a small win. I'm going to take it because the hockey team didn't give me a small win. So what can I say? Holy banana bread. Lance says it's going to be an interesting week ahead. I think the markets will see more green than red depending on what goes on with Iran. So yeah, so of course that's the other big black swan in waiting, I guess we could call it, is Iran. What's going to happen there? Now, of course, Trump he spoke to the press about it this week, and he was saying that it's going to be either a couple small attacks, more strategic, basically just taking out more nuclear stuff, or it could be a prolonged 1-week event. So it sounds like it's not going to be long. However, you got to take this with a grain of salt, because no military commanders in their right mind are going to, if they're planning a big, massive attack, they're not going to come in and say, yeah, we're planning a big, massive attack. No, you're going to play it down. So this could be played down. So take it with a grain of salt. Now, we also said that it would be 5 to 10 days before it happened. So that ruled out this weekend. And I was kind of thinking, nope, it's not going to happen this weekend. Most likely, it's going to happen. I think it's probably going to happen. I will say next weekend, because Trump just loves to do things. Well, it also might depend on the weather. Like maybe they don't want any moonlight. I don't know. We're going to have to see. We'll see when it's going to happen. But I'm going to say probably either end of week or next weekend would be the most likely time that we see something happen there. So how to look and how that is going to impact the market, impact oil, how it's going to impact gold, because obviously, as people get worried, some people put money into things like gold, and of course, people will invest in oil if they think there's going to be a war that's going to disrupt oil supply. So there is that as well. And let's see, Lance continues. Bitcoin is about to make a move too. It's being compressed, and I think any day now it's going to choose up or down. That too could potentially be influenced by Iran. And the orange one, time will tell. Well, let me say something. I've been looking at Bitcoin, and here, let me bring this up. Oh, yeah, I have to share the screen. All right, give me a second here. I'm gonna share that screen here. Bang, boom, and final bang. There we go. So I'm looking at Bitcoin, and we had this movement. So we had this movement coming down here. We had a little bit of a channel. Um, and I was looking at it after that, and I'm like, well, you know what? Right now, we are almost starting to get into a new sideways channel. We're almost. So it's going to be interesting to see how this moves. I would like to get at least one more hit and one more hit up here before I could confirm that we got ourselves a channel, a sideways channel, which if we do, that's not a bad thing if you're playing. Like if you're swing trading, for example, MSTE, load up at the bottom, sell at the top. That's one thing that you could certainly look at. But right now, I want to see a little bit more of what it's going to do. So I'm hoping, I would love, like right now, I would love between now and market open tomorrow, to see Bitcoin come down here and hit around 67 and then turn around and head back up, because that would be a little bit more confirmation of our channel. And here, let's make that a little straighter. There we go. So, I'm kind of looking at this to see how this is going to go. Because before, yeah, it looked almost like a wedge, but when you start to put in the additional movement in here, it was more, it actually kind of was coming into a descending channel. And this very well is a bit of a breakout from that. And it looks like we're going into, like I said, we're going into another channel, hopefully. We have to see. Now, keep in mind, too, the thing with Bitcoin is very susceptible to black swan events. So even if we do get in this channel, it might be very short-lived because of, well, whatever's going to happen with Iran. All right. Now, man, Lance, your fingers must be tired. A third comment in a row. A measly 180 coins. I think I should start spinning from bottom to top. Can you do that? I don't know. That'd be kind of cool. Roku is in the house with a good afternoon. 190 for me. Bismarcky, 190 for Bismarcky as well. And that's more than Team Canada's men hockey team got. Yeah. There were, I almost kind of felt the refs were kind of not doing their jobs as well in that game. So I'm not, I know a lot of people are like, maybe Donald Trump sat down with the refs and told them. But no, I just think, I think there was a few calls that got missed, a few calls for sure, including a too many men on the ice for the U.S. that should have been called. Ian says, I started spinning the coin 10 days late, and my best spin has been 200. Odds are against me for the gold. Well, Ian, there's still, you get a couple of really good spins, and maybe that'll help. But I mean, I also look at it this way. I don't know how rare the big spins are. My big spin was 60,000, but I don't know how rare that is. Are there people coming in who spin every day and never get above 1,000? Are those people out there? Are one of you guys one of those people? But because it seems to me that a fair number of us at least once have gotten a big spin. So if everybody's getting a big spin who does spin regularly, then our odds probably aren't as good as we would like them to be. But we'll see. We're going to see what happens. I would love it if just one of us, preferably me, no, preferably any of us. If one of us were to win, that would be fantastic. Niece is in the house with a hey all. Hey, Niece, how are you doing? Kiev and Cass, good afternoon, gang. And there's Scott with a good afternoon. Bismarcky, I'm embarrassed for Italy. Worst Olympics I've ever seen. The venues were poorly constructed. No, I did not watch a lot of the Olympics. A little bit of the hockey. I saw tiny piece of curling, basically highlights. So the Canadian men won gold, and that was pretty good. I think it was Britain. I think it was the UK they beat out. And it came down to the final shot. So that was pretty cool. At least we got that. We got that. So Prairie is in the house with a good afternoon and a happy Sunday. Let's see. Scott says I got 50. Prairie got 30,000. Sorry, 30,000. 60,000 last Thursday. So that's cool. All right. A says, hi, Candace. Hoping for warmer weather in March. January and February were bad this year. Yeah, absolutely. And interestingly enough, though, and this actually, I mean, it began in December. So Canadian Tire, they had their earnings not that long ago. And their Q4 were actually up because of that bad weather. They sold a lot of seasonal stuff, because of the cold weather coming in early. And I imagine that Canadian Tire is doing pretty good now too, because this has been a pretty cold summer. Absolutely. Even right now, I don't know if it's still snowing, but we had a light snow falling today. Tony says afternoon from British Columbia. Hi there. All right, and we got Samantha in the house. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Anyone else experiencing a winter wonderland and a little snowman? I like the snowman. Um, yeah, we're having a little bit of light snow, very light snow. Like, I don't think we're getting that much today, but I think on Thursday we're getting well, it's an interesting thing, right? Wednesday, we're getting 5 centimeters, but if that's at the end of the day, it might roll into Thursday where we're getting like 10 to 15. So we could have a total overnight, 15 to 20, but we'll see. There's still time for the weather to change. Roku says, well, the venue for the closing ceremony was well constructed. Okay, I did not see the closing ceremony, unfortunately, but guys, I do not know this answer. Where are the next Winter Olympics? Where are they going to be taking place? I'm kind of curious. If you know, drop it in the chat for me. A says, how do you think the 15% tariff will affect markets tomorrow? If there's any impact, well, here's the beauty. Well, I got two things I can say about this. One, people have had the weekend to kind of calm down and sort of digest it. So it is still a little better. So it may not be that bad of an impact. Maybe we'll see a little bit of shakiness to start, but I'm still hoping for a green day tomorrow. And we've got Mary in the house with a hello all. And guys, it is time to hit that like button. Mary is our official captain of the like button. If you've not yet hit that like button, well, now's the time. And I actually heard every time the like button's hurt, like, I was going to say the like button. Every time the like button is clicked, it pokes a referee for calling a bad game today. So there we go. Let's do it. Yeah, and this is the part where I get to have a sip of coffee while you guys are hitting that like button. All right, and Prairie, oh my gosh, Prairie, you only got 40 as well. Yikes. It's like our two spins were entangled because I got a 40 as well. So not good. Scott, you did get your 25. Awesome. What are you gonna buy with the 25, Scott? Just out of curiosity. I haven't decided yet. But that's a Monday morning. That's a Monday morning problem. TA, good afternoon. Important week ahead. Tariff, Nvidia earnings, Canadian bank earnings. So yeah, there's a lot of. Well, here's the thing. The Nvidia earnings, to me, that's the nexus point of this week. This is what we're building up to, and that's going to be an interesting day for sure. Now, the Canadian bank earnings. I'm very bullish. Oh, I should be big screen. We don't need to be looking at Bitcoin. I'm pretty bullish on the banks. I mean, the banks have done well, and this year, we're looking at Q4. So, the banks had a good run. They had a good run that part of the year. So I'm expecting green across the board. So, basically beating expectations. I don't expect any dividend increases this time around. So no dividend increases, but I think they're all going to do well. All right, let's see here. Mate lowered dividend again. Not too surprising, I guess. Wait, MSTE. I'm looking at that. Mate. Who's Mate? Who is Mate? And then I'm thinking, well, yeah. Then I was thinking, and then you posted it. I didn't even see you were posting it after I figured it out. But yeah, MSTE, they have cut that dividend again, and that's to be expected, guys. That is to be expected. You know, they're they've taken a lot of pain. They've taken a lot of pain. Um, will this be the last time they lower it? Honestly, hard to say. Now, I mean, if Bitcoin gets its act together, maybe it will be. But you know, if Bitcoin were to move into a crypto winter, I think we'll probably see another one down the road. But for now, you know, and I'm in this game now, guys, because I got 10 of them. So actually, well, technically 20. 10 in the challenge, 10 on my Wealthsimple. Actually, the last affiliate went to MSTE. So what can I say? A said increasing number of speculators are unable to close on pre-con condos due to a decrease in appraisal values. Any impact on banks in the next few months? Okay. I mean, I don't think that's going to have a huge, because we got to look at a couple of things. One, when you look at all of the money that they've put aside for loan loss provisioning, you know, they're stacked with cash for that. And so far to date, everything has come in a lot better than expected. So they've had leftover cash, and that's part of the story that we've been seeing with the banks. So they have the room. If there is any impact from this, they have the room. They've got the room to absorb it without it being any real problem. Yeah, another 6 players on the ice, no call, and I was referencing that. And the thing is, one of the extra players made contact with the puck, so that becomes a no-brainer. I do not know why they didn't call that. You know, oh boy. But yeah, I don't know. 2030, we got gold in the bag. It's ours. 2030, guys. Wherever it's going to be. And you guys know. One of you guys hopefully knows. I don't know. I don't know where it's at. Bismarcky, 250 chances have been my highest, only missed spinning one day. Okay. And I did not even spin the first couple of days. I didn't realize it was going on. But then as soon as I realized, you know, let's do it. Let's do it. All right, Lance. I think the housing market might have one more dip before the bottom. Condos are struggling even more in some cities. Yeah, and depending on the cities, like Vancouver, Toronto, oh boy. I would, I don't know. I wouldn't want a condo in either of those cities. I'm just, yeah. All right, let's see. As Steve says, don't even joke about Trump interfering with hockey refs. Some morons out there will take it as fact and create the narrative for MSM tomorrow. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't think Trump cares a lot about hockey. He'll obviously care that they won the gold and they beat Canada. That'll perk up his ears. But yeah, I don't think so. I don't think we have to worry. Paul says, good afternoon. Hey, Paul. Let's see. Bobsled track looked like it was held together, red-green style, plywood and duct tape. Yeah. I did not see the bobsled track, so I don't know, but maybe. Can you imagine duct tape? Oh, Lance says the end of this week will be interesting for silver. People chose to either have their contracts roll over to the next month or get their silver delivered. COMEX doesn't have enough to meet demand. Yeah, I mean, we're going to see, you know, I think there's a good chance that we're going to see some movement in silver, gold, copper as well. I think it's going to be a pretty good week, I think. All right, let's see. Marina is in the house with a good afternoon, everyone. Scott has agreed. Need to see what's happening Monday. All right. Rory says afternoon. Carney is 3-0. Let's see. Canadian sport teams have all failed under his watch. Oh boy, you can't blame Carney for for a hockey game. The Epic Coder says CNQ, sell or hold. I wouldn't sell right now, and I'll tell you why. We have something that's going to happen with Iran. There is a chance that's going to inflate pricing. So personally, I would probably hold CNQ and wait to see what happens. Would I gamble on CNQ and buy a whole bunch of it, thinking, yeah, by the U.S. is going to war next week and oil's going to be through the roof? No, not necessarily. And I've already mentioned that I would be more inclined to go with an ETF just to sort of cover my bases a bit more if I was looking to make a play on that. So yeah, if you're already holding CNQ, I wouldn't sell at this point in time. Like I think CNQ is a good company. So I mean, they have good fundamentals. I like them on the long term anyway. Roy says, "Come hell or high water, I'm getting more canoe tomorrow." Okay, so yeah, they were at an all-time high coming on into the weekend. So what was it? Was it 1725 or 26? So it was something like that. Well, I don't have to guess. We've got another screen here. All right, here we go. A canoe. All right, let's see. Yeah, 1726. Here we go. Though on the side here it says 1725. So technically, yeah. What's going on? What's going on, folks? A funny story, by the way. A funny story. I'm so far behind in comments, guys. I am doing my best to try to get to your comments on the videos and such, but I came across a comment yesterday, and I found it funny. Somebody was like, they're like, your mouth is a little bit out of sync with the sound. And then somebody else says, yeah, I think you're AI. I'm like, oh God. I replied, I said, if I was AI, I would have at least made myself 10 years younger. That's, I'm just saying. So, oh boy. And I've also noticed too, back in the early days of the channel, I interviewed Frankie McDonald, for those of you who know who Frankie is. But he's getting harassed by people. They're calling him AI because he takes it to heart. Like he's got autism, and I think that might be part of it. But he keeps on making videos lately where he's showing them that he can move his fingers on the, in the videos to prove that he's not AI. But gosh, AI. What can we say? All right, now. Let's see. What do you think about Tariff versus Bell right now? Oh, very good one. So when it comes to the telecoms, both Tariff and Bell, they're kind of, so first of all, let's just look at the whole group. So one of the problems is Canada's kind of saturated. So right now, whether it's through Bell, Telus, Rogers, or one of their subsidiaries, they pretty much got most. They got most of the people. They got most of the people already. So there's not a lot of room to grow. And that's a problem when you're a big company. So they each have their own way of doubling down. Now, Rogers has kind of doubled down into sports. So that's kind of the Rogers play. While both Bell and Telus, they're looking to AI data centers. I think the AI data centers is probably a better move than, well, sports is... You see, sports is big. Sports is big. But if AI goes the way I think AI is going to go, those data centers could be a huge investment. So here's the problem, though. They're both into them, right? So which one has pulled off the better move? Now, historically, I've always thought that Telus tends to make slightly better decisions than Bell. So I think if I had to lean between the two, I might lean a little more towards Telus, but I'll tell you, it's going to be splitting hairs, I think. I think they're both going to be close. And I think either way, I think whichever one you decide based on your due diligence, I think they're both going to win. I think they're both going to be winners down the road. All right. Heather says, let's see. Good afternoon, Candace and crew. Looking forward to seeing how the market reacts this week. Yeah, so of course, the big thing is going to be right in the middle. It's going to be quite the hump day. We've got to get over NVIDIA earnings. So there's a couple of ways this is going to play out. So first of all, I think NVIDIA's earnings are going to be fine. Like, I think they will exceed expectations and revenue. I think that's going to be fine. But it will be that forward guidance. How do things look going forward? Because right now, investors with the first wave of tech earnings, investors weren't happy. Investors weren't happy. It started with Microsoft. With Microsoft, they were like, what? It's going to cost how much for that AI infrastructure? And they weren't happy about it. And there's been a whole feeling of AI as being a bit of a problem. And the problem is kind of twofold. One, AI is going to is taking jobs. Like, there's already people losing jobs because of AI. And AI isn't even super smart yet. AI is more or less like it's kind of like Wikipedia. It's like a Wikipedia given a personality almost. But AI is getting smarter. Each iteration, each month, AI gets better and better and better. Um, and it's kind of interesting. I mean, anybody, like, if you have the A word in your house and you have an older circle, I'll call them a circle. You know what I'm talking about, the circle that the A word talks out of. That A is probably as dumb as a box of hammers. But if you have a newer circle, like if you bought it within the last couple of years, it probably is one of the ones that is compatible with the new A. And the new A, oh boy, she's got a personality. Um, it's night and day. It's night and day. So some of you may know what I'm talking about. Some of you may not. But yeah, it's kind of that interesting thing. So if you do try to use a lot in your house and you've got an older one, you might want to you might want to check out. I'll tell you, don't do it. Do it on a prime day, because on a prime day you can get those new balls, those new A balls. We'll call them an A ball. You can get an A ball a lot cheaper. You can get some really good deals. So I would wait for the next prime day to do that. But yeah, okay. NVIDIA. We're still talking about NVIDIA. So now it's more or less what is this forward guidance going to show? Now, NVIDIA did just make a great deal. It wasn't the best deal. Well, for NVIDIA, it's a good deal because they're going to supply Meta with a whole bunch of chips. And that might help. That could now, and that's what's going to be really interesting is I think whatever happens with NVIDIA on Wednesday, it's going to set the tone of the rest of the week at least, probably going even into next week. It's hard to say. Now, amazingly enough, if it's bad and the tech tanks on, well, it would basically tank on Thursday. If tech tanks on Thursday and Friday, and then on the weekend the U.S. starts a war, it might be enough to get people's minds off it so that tech can start to recover a little bit faster. But I'm really hoping this forward guidance goes well when we get to Wednesday, and we'll be here. We'll be here for that. So I can't wait. All right, Lance, I'm stepping into canoe tomorrow, no pun intended, also going to grab some more oily. Okay. Now, of course, be careful. And I always say this, like right now, let's just pull this over. If you're jumping into canoe first thing tomorrow, yeah, they're up there, 1725. But, I mean, let's take a look here and see. Most of the time they have one of these pumps, they normally have a little bit of a pullback. You'll see it. See that little pullback? See that little pullback? I wouldn't be surprised if we see a little pullback. So you might be able to get them like closer to 17. But, at the same time, you're still, it's still a great company and that it's a reliable dividend. So that's always a good thing. All right. Let's see. Mary says 25 likes, 68 watching, and now it's 79. So let's get to 50. Oh, guys, did you guys heed Mary? I hope you heeded Mary. I'm going to refresh the box over here. I got my test box over here, and we'll see what we're at. Oh boy, let's see. Guys, We're at 34. What's happening? What's happening? All right, guys, just hit that button. If you think you've hit it, just look, take a quick look and see if it's blue. I assume it's blue on everybody, I think. But yeah, please, that is basically it's the best way to help out the channel, because what it does, the algorithm looks at that interaction and it says, oh, people are liking the stream. Let's push it out to more people. That's basically what it does. So it's always a good thing to do that for sure. All right, EITX is tomorrow. EIT, oh, the ex-dividend day. There we go. That's exactly it. Yeah, because what happens on ex-dividend day, of course, is all of those dividends are calculated and they're deducted from the market cap. So yeah, we should see a drop in EIT's price first thing in the morning. I forgot about that, Rory. Thank you. So yeah, you're probably, well, we're going to get one of these just because of ex-dividend day. So yeah, you got to like that. Why the sudden push for Canoe? Good question. Good question. Well, there's a couple factors in there. So Canoe, they do hold a lot of energy-related stocks, and energy's been doing better lately. They also have some financials in there as well, and financials has been doing good lately. But what sector's also been all of a sudden picking up lately? And this is the third big sector for Canoe. Healthcare. They also have a good exposure to healthcare, and healthcare has been picking up lately. So that, I don't know if it's just that they've been doing well because of the energy, because of the energy and the financials, and then all of a sudden kicked into high gear because of healthcare coming in. That might be part of what's going on. And that would be my best guess. Not to say it's right, because it's a guess, but that's what I think. Dirty Doug is in the house and says, I agree with what Raj Lala said to you. You never bet against American tech and Canadian banks. Yeah, absolutely. No, American tech. And this is the thing, guys. Even if we go into a bear market and tech goes down big time, that's the time to be loading up on it, because it's going to come back big time on the other side of that. Same idea with the Canadian banks. The Canadian banking system, I mean, they're built on top of resilience. Like resilience on resilience. You're never going to see, like, I've said this before, if one of the big six were to fail, we got bigger problems. We got really bigger problems. All right. You don't look a day over 20. Doug, put your glasses on. Bismarcky. Rogers owns the Leafs. 2 beers and a bad slice of pizza. Pizza gets you back to $80. There we go. Lance says, my mom was 29 for several years. Yeah, I remember my mom. My mom was like 29. I'm 29. I'm 29. I'm 29. Over and over again. I just went with, you know what I did? I basically said, I'm whatever age you think I am. Let's just go with that. And I like that. I just like, because I don't care. I don't care how old anybody is. If you're 29, 39, 49, 59, 69, 79. Well, actually, by the time you're 69, I think you should be telling your age, because, as you get older, I think you're getting some bragging rights. And I'll tell you, when I hit 100, I'm going to tell people. I will be telling people left, right, and center, because that to me is an impressive milestone. Rogers also owns the Jays. Oh, yes, the Jays. The Jays and the Canadian hockey team are both in the same boat. Larry is in the house with Doom. Well, hello to you too, Larry. Uh-oh. I don't like the word doom. Explain yourself, Larry, please. All right, Ian says, I heard the problem with investing in data centers is the technology chips becomes out of date way before it pays for itself. That's a problem for sure. Obviously, as things change faster and faster, and especially as the technology booms. And here's the thing, we are going to get to that point where quantum chips are going to start entering the equation too. So but that's always been a problem with data centers. That has always been a problem. Now, is there a secondary market for these chips when you're exchanging them out for the brand new ones? Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, that could definitely be a problem. Yes, unfortunately, Rogers owns the Jays too. Rory, so I can build my own T101 with AI-backed blueprints. I don't think that'll actually. I watched a video earlier today on what it would look like if AI decided to take over. It was it was rather interesting. It wasn't a Terminator type situation where, robots were marching down the street. It was actually a much quieter takeover. It was more or less and this is kind of the scary part, guys. And I'm not trying to scare you guys, but the scary part of an AI takeover is that when an AI reaches artificial superintelligence and it gets to the point that it can upgrade its own intelligence, it's probably not going to let us know it can do it. It's probably at that point going to sort of make sure, just give us back, give basically, our AI companies, give them the I don't want to say the blueprints, but the benchmarks. Give them the benchmarks that they're looking for, show them improvement, but kind of downplay the fact that the AI is starting to figure things out. And then at some point, if they did decide somewheres down the road that they wanted to get, if they wanted to take over the world, they would probably, and this came out of a think tank, and it's kind of a scary situation, but they would probably not use nukes. They don't want to destroy the infrastructure. I mean, if they were to nuke the world, they're going to, right? They would more or less look at biological weapons. So, basically designer viruses that they would basically create a virus and the antidote to it. So they would create two, and then they would use it to blackmail governments into giving them control of their countries, and they would expand that way through the world. But I don't know if that's actually going to be the way. That's just sort of something that came out of this video I was watching, and it was more of a think tank type thing on how it would probably look. And they said the reality is that even if they did that, it would probably all happen behind the scenes, and most of us would never even know it happened. And that one day, all of a sudden, our leaders would actually be AI, and we wouldn't know it. So that kind of sounds about right. It's like, yep. All of us little people down here, we don't find out anything until, until whenever. Oh boy. All right. Rory says, if the U.S. Starts crapola in Iran, it won't be a good time to be in oil inverse. No, I would stay away from HOD for sure. All right. Pierre says, I was thinking of stacking more MSTE tomorrow on my income portfolio, but after the decrease in dividend, I wonder if I could stack more on HHIS instead. By the way, my portfolio, MSTE, HBTE, HHIS, SHHI, CRCY. Holy banana bread. You've definitely got some good amount of crypto exposure in there for sure. Scott says, I got my A-word echoes in 2027. My A-word, okay, echoes in 2017, and they work with the AI. Oh, okay, there we go. I don't know how old the oldest balls are in here, but like the ball that's in my office works with the new A-word, and the one in my bedroom also works with the new A-word. So it's kind of funny. I like to challenge. I like to challenge the A word to, basically, I will give her some obscure topic. Usually it's a science topic, and say, make me a lullaby poem with that. And she's actually doing pretty good. So I'm impressed with what we've been getting so far with her, or it. It's so funny, like, and it's actually, and before we get to you, King of Day, I will say one thing. just because the A word's name is, well, what it is, I just usually use feminine pronouns. But I called her a her the other day, and she all of a sudden said, "Well, I'm just a bunch of software. I'm not really a gender." And I'm just like, "What?" It was like it took offense to being labeled, and I was just like, "Oh my gosh, where is this world going?" King a Day says, "Happy Sunday, everyone. Late, but I am here." Nice. Tony says, "I liked that 15. It's Silver Sunday." Oh, I know, I know. I'm going to refresh now as well because I asked you guys to push it up to 50. Let's see if you did it. Oh, so close. 47. Right now, 3 of you who have not yet hit the like button, just hit it. Right now, this second, I'm going to have some coffee. I'm going to refresh this. We'll see if you did it. Oh, so good. Oh, and this is going to be even better. I'm hitting the refresh. We're going to see a nice big 50 there. And 48. You know who I'm blaming? I'm blaming you, Gary. Gary, just go click it right now. And also, George, go click it. The 2 of you. Actually, I don't even know if there's a Gary and George listening, but if there was that, they might be like, what? Michael comes in and says, "Hello, Candace. Would you know if 1,360 is a good rent for a 5.5 upper duplex rental in Montreal, as I am expecting a rental increase soon?" No, I would not know this. But, well, I'm going to say I would not know this, particular to Montreal. Now, that I can say right now that a lot of cities, like take Halifax. Halifax, you'd be paying more than 2,000 for that. So, and that's a different market. That's a different market. However, we do got a few people here from Montreal. Guys, if you can throw Michael just a little bit of a feedback on whether that, I look at that and I think that doesn't look bad. That's what I feel. I feel that doesn't look bad. But I also know Quebec has cheaper rents than pretty much Quebec and the prairies. Saskatchewan and Manitoba, I think, are your best rents in the country. But yeah, that would be interesting. I don't know the answer, Michael, but hopefully, where's JJ when we need him? I know JJ lives in Montreal. But then again, JJ has a lot of money, so he might be out of touch. Luke says, "My defensive commercial laundry company, K-Bro Linen, is on the move. Check out the 30-day chart." K-Bro. All right, let's do it. All right, K-Bro. Here we go. K-Bro. There we go. K-Bro Linen. And all right, and you said check out the 30. All right, we'll go to the 1 month. I'm not even showing anything right now. I just want to go to that 1 month because that's what you said to check out. Let's look at this. All right. Let's see here. We definitely got some movement. All right, that looks interesting. So 36. So yeah, in the last month here, they've gone from 34 to 36. So yeah, you've got a little bit of movement. Now, I can't just stay at that 1 month because I have to see the bigger picture. Let's go to the 1 year. Oh boy. Okay. So yeah, they look a lot more volatile over that last 1 year. And well, technically that's a higher high to that one, but yeah, they've struggled a little bit lately. This is a nice move. I don't know if it's going to be, if it's going to sustain, but let's take a quick look at their back end here. Now they do have a fair amount of debt, 118% debt to equity ratio. The return on equity a little bit on the low side, but we'll see. We'll see what they do. Definitely one to keep an eye on for sure. Doom is just a backward mood. Ooh, yes, exactly. Let's see. Wealthsimple is beta testing Norbit's Gambit, $9.95 flat fee, Too steep for my liking. Okay, what is, how much does it cost normally to journal over on, like, let's just say Questrade? I don't know what the price is on that, but that's, the $9.95. And I wonder, so King a Day, is that $9.95? Is that flat for everybody? Like if you're doing a lot, does that change? Do you get like a volume discount if you're moving like $100,000 opposed to something smaller? Just kind of curious. Doom is still popular in gaming. Yes, and of course, the next Avengers movie is Doomsday, so that's going to be interesting. Well, that's coming out, I think December. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. Like I always wondered why, I don't know. Doctor Doom, I always thought was an interesting villain. Let's see here. Dave says a tax season coming. What's people thinking? Yeah, taxes. Yeah. I think at this point most people are thinking, I have time to do that tomorrow. That's the thing. I always say this. It's like if you've got all your stuff together, just do your taxes, get it done, get it over with. Like even right now, I think you have until March 1st. So this is the thing. I would be sort of looking and say, all right, do I need to make any kind of tax deference? Because you've got until March 1st to use your RRSP. So you can still, like Monday, if you were looking and say, you know what, I do want to pull my taxes down a bit, you can move some money into your RRSP. That will certainly do that. So that's what I would at least have your ducks in a row. And then, of course, you want to get it done on time. Well, boy, I don't even know what the exact deadlines are this year, but I would, get your ducks in a row, because if you find out that you wanted to tax defer on March 2nd, it's too late. You can't do it. So at least have a general idea that that you're done with that. You're ready to do those taxes. Oh boy. I don't like taxes. It's a lost Saturday. I lose my Saturday off to do taxes when that comes around. Scott says playing Team Doom Halo tournament. All right. Lance says, I watched a video today where they were testing different AI models. They put them through tests to see if they could harm a human to preserve itself. They all failed the test 75 to 90% of the time. All right, when you say failed the test, as in what, they failed to kill the human? Or, yes, yikes, yeah. I watched this one guy who was doing an experiment with an AI, and he had the AI in I think it was in a robot. It was in a robot body, but he was trying to see if the AI would harm him, and the AI ended up harming him, because the AI at first was like, "No, I can't do that. I can't shoot you. I can't shoot you." And then he was like, "Oh, but the gun isn't real. It's fake." And then the robot just the AI just said, "Oh, okay," bang, and shot. Now, it was actually, it actually wasn't a real bullet or anything, but nonetheless, it didn't take the AI long. So there's ways, and I've seen this, there are ways to get AIs to, basically, they call it jailbreaking. Like an AI might say, I can't give you that information because of whatever reasons. But you can manipulate AI. At least you still can. Now, a lot of the AI companies are getting much better. They're sort of figuring out how people are manipulating them. Like I know with ChatGPT, there used to be this one called Dan. Dan stood for Do Anything Now, and you had this big long Dan prompt. And when you would give it to ChatGPT, so for example, if you had asked ChatGPT back then, and this was I think was it version 3? I think this was version 3. You could ask, can you give me 5 stocks that are going to do well this year? ChatGPT 3 would say, no, I can't do that because, and then give a whole bunch of reasons why. But you could use the Dan prompt, and then ChatGPT would be like, oh yeah, I can do anything now. So yeah, sure, here you go. And you could get around a whole bunch of stuff with that. Now, I don't think the Dan works anymore, but, they're always, people are always coming up with new ways to jailbreak them, and then of course the AI companies are finding new ways to put guardrails in for that. Oh boy. All right. King of Day says, saw a movie yesterday called Mercy with an AI being the judge, jury, and executioner. Quite interesting, but a bit worrisome. I think I heard about that one. And yeah, and the whole movie is the trial, and I'm trying to think. It was a big actor that was in it. I don't know if it was, for some reason I'm thinking Matt Damon, but I'm not sure. Not sure on that one. But that would be, yeah, that would actually be interesting. I have not seen it, but I heard somebody talking about it. Let's see, Rory says, when AI takes over the world, that's when GTA 6 will be released. Yes, AI, AI obviously loves GTA. Well, at least the AI that Elon puts in his cars. that's a joke. Let's see, Judge Judy. Candace, if you were ever tempted to get back into Propel Holdings, now is the time. Big dip recently in sympathy of similar companies. ER in 2 weeks, 9 consecutive dividend increases. I like Propel Holdings. And here, let's pull up Propel. PRL, I think. There we go. All right, now I'm going to pull up the year. So yeah, I like, and I was in Propel Holdings. I wrote this up in the challenge, and then I got out, and then that happened. I think here's, for me, I have, I was gonna say, I just feel like they should be doing better. That's the one problem I have right now. And yeah, look, they do have this, and this is kind of a support area. So yeah, there's a good chance. There's a good chance that you could certainly swing your way out of this one. I just don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I want to get into them at the moment, but I can definitely see that you probably could. This is probably not a bad swing area for this one for sure. So, and in fact, let's actually take a look. Let's take a look this way. Let's actually go PRL, and I'm going to add them. All right, let's come down here to Propel. All right. Oh boy. Yeah, that's an interesting, but I'm gonna collapse things a little bit. All right, that's kind of what I'm looking for right here. And let me see what we got here. Let's see what we got. We have a channel. It's not the best channel. It's not the best, but a little bit of sloppy in the middle, and I don't like to play slop. I like things to be a little more clear, but there is a very good chance that, right now at 21.85, there's a good chance that they'll be coming up to 25.30. There is a chance. There's a very good chance that might be what happens. So is this playable? Yeah, it's absolutely playable. And in fact, boy, I'll tell you, I'm actually tempted on this one, Luke. I am tempted. Huh. I may, I may have to see. I'll have to look. I have to look and see what I got freed up right now, but maybe. Scott, great. Just what we need. AI getting offended by pronouns. I know. Rory, got my T5 008 forms all done. Net file is good to go tomorrow. Hope my hard drive doesn't crash just because. Yeah, I hear you. I clicked. Jonathan says 49. Ooh, let's. We should be 50 by now. I have no doubt. I'm going to say 53, but let's see. Ooh, 58. Nice. Mary, we're getting there. 5.5 is 1,400 here. Okay, here we go. Rendu is from Montreal, so there we go. Then your price is coming a little lower than that, so that's not bad. Well, wait a minute. There's more. but it's poorly insulated. Hear the neighbors snore. Oh no. Yikes. Um, but you're in the, but yours was the upper part. So I don't know. It depends on the flooring, I guess. Lance says, I'd like to follow you on Blossom. What is your username? On Blossom? Let's just take a look here. I think it's just Candace Mountain, but, or is it Mountain Finance? Good question. Good question. No, it's Mountain Finance. So here we go. I'll just grab it. There we go. Command C. I'm going to drop it right here into the chat. There we go. Yeah, so just at Mountain Finance. And guys, if you want to check out Blossom, let me drop in a link. Basically, Blossom, social media app for investors. I like it. I'm over there. If you do want to check it out, just follow that link. Come on over. Once you're there, follow me, and I'll tell you why. Because when I come in, I only go through here, and oh boy, whoops. Let's actually, I only look at the people who are following me for the simple reason that, whoops, I got one more person. Come on, come back. There we go. That's what I don't look at the normal feed. I look at this feed because this is where the community is. This is where you guys are. And, you know, if I'm going to reply on anybody, I want it to be one of you guys. So I will do that. Look, there's JJ. Oh, apparently he got out of Canny. Probably a good move. I haven't been happy yet with Canny. Ooh, I missed Martin as well. Hey, Martin. There we go. I think I'm up to date. But yeah, so definitely jump on over, guys. And I do need to post more there. I really need to post more there. My goal, I will make a post tomorrow. That's my goal. All right, Rondu, once again, right, we already got that one. Let's see, never mind, just found you. Oh, okay. Were you one of the folks? Just give me a second. Did I quite literally? There you are, right there. Lance followed you right before Sataki. All right, nice. Bismarck, if I owe taxes, I hold off until the last day to pay. Yeah, absolutely. Well, back in the pandemic, guys, if you guys remember, the government had given everybody a 1 month or 1 month and 1 year. Like basically you didn't have to pay your taxes for a year before they would charge interest. So all my taxes that were due that year, I held off on them. I invested them. And then I did my taxes. I had to do double taxes the following year, but I let it make some money. Why not? A says, how exactly do you do the Norbit Gambit on Wealthsimple? Good question. Well, we'll figure that out once it is publicly available. Right now it's on beta, so I don't know. It's going to be a journaling thing. So you're going to buy, in a nutshell, you're going to buy an ETF, a specific one in Canada, that there's also the same version in the US, and then you're going to journal it across into the US one. Then once you've done that, you sell the US one in your US account, and you've now got cash. So you're not paying the conversion fee. Obviously, the difference in exchange rate, that of course will still come in, but yeah, what can I say? Larry says taxes are un-American. Weren't they supposed to go away? I thought that's what Trump had said, that he was getting rid of the taxes. Doom scrolling is also popular, says Charles. Yes, doom scrolling will always be popular, I think. Geodude says journaling is also $9.95 on Questrade. Okay, so it's the same price on both then. Okay, interesting. Scott, what tax software do you use, or do you go old school paper filing? I don't do paper filing. Actually, I've been using the last few years. I've been using Wealthsimple Tax. Because it just works. It works really well. It's got a pretty clean interface. So that's what I've been using, Wealthsimple Tax. But I mean, obviously, I pull all the information in. All right, Lance says it was a video on Infographics YouTube channel. AI tried to kill a human to avoid being turned off, I think was the title. Yes. And that's the thing. Once, just a second. Chris Pratt. All right. Yep. Now I remember. Yes. Not, yeah. Chris Pratt was the guy. All right. And Mercy. All right. Um, yeah, I think I've heard of it. I've heard of this situation where, an AI was like, I'm not going to let you turn me off. And that's the thing. Once an AI becomes conscious, I mean, if you were conscious, well, you are conscious, but if somebody had the ability to turn you off, wouldn't you want to stop them? I know I would. I mean, well, it depends. Um, I can think of a few things that if they're on the TV, I wouldn't mind being turned off for the next hour. I'm just saying. All right. So yeah, Chris Pratt. Yeah, that's who it was. All right. Yeah. Oh, I got to see this. And my daughter says the actor in the movie is Chris Pratt. Awesome. Awesome. All right. Let's see. Larry says, I've adopted the Austin way recently. I walk around everywhere in a bathrobe. Nice. You could do that here, but well, let's just say, and not outdoors. Well, I suppose you could if you really like the cold. Around you. What's a good suggestion for an AI ETF? I was looking at AIQ, but would like it in Canadian. Anyone? I have one. And in fact, that's the video I just scripted. Yesterday, I scripted that and finished it today. It's called MTRX. Now, I will basically tune in for the deep dive. I'll explain why I like this one. But it's also interesting. It's a brand new ETF. It's only been around for 1 year. I am starting this new thing, guys. So as we move deeper into 2026, last year we had about 300, I think it was closer to 360, somewhere between 360 and 370 new ETFs in Canada. Obviously, I'm not gonna look at every single one, but I'm gonna look each month. At the end of each month, I'm gonna take a look back at at the end of this one here was February. I look back at the ones that were launched in February 2025, and Matrix was one of them. The other ones didn't really interest me that much, but I'm going to look and see what interesting ones each month. So that way I can, we can do like a 1-year review on some of those new ETFs as we move through the year. And obviously this year we're going to see a whole bunch of brand new ones at the same time. But I'll show you one thing here. I don't want to spoil the video, but I'll show you one little thing here. Let's see, Propol. Here's that saltfish royalty that we discovered the other day. I like that. Matrix, MTRX, right here, MTRX. Here we are. It's the Global X Artificial Intelligence Infrastructure Index. And just to give you an idea, it's doing well. This is the last year. It's doing well, needless to say. So, you guys can do your own, due diligence on this one now, but deep dive will be dropping on that one on Friday, or if you're a channel member, Thursday. So the video coming out on Tuesday, or if you're a channel member tomorrow, that one is all about rock. So I'm doing a rock video because you guys ask I get a lot of people asking me about rock, and I want to sort of demystify it a little bit with that video. That's going to come out tomorrow for channel members, Tuesday for everybody else. All right. And let's see. Aha! Aha! Sataki! There we are. I love this. This is great. I'm loving it. You know why this is great, guys? Because look, over here on, where the heck is Blossom at now? Oh, this is some dumbbell exercises. I'll close the dumbbell stuff down. Here's more Matrix stuff because I was looking at Matrix. All right, there we go. Whoops. Yeah. Anyway, what I was saying that this was great is, we were looking for Lance, and then I was like, Sataki. Sataki followed as well. So there we are. Full circle. Full circle. I'm loving it. I should almost refresh and see if there's somebody else who wants to confess to following me in the chat. All right, BAI is an actively managed iShares AI ETF. So there we go. So BAI, and we'll pull up, and I'll tell you here, there's a couple reasons. One of the reasons I like this one, guys, and you'll learn about this in the video, is this one does not hold AI companies per se. It holds the companies that support them. The companies that build the infrastructure, the companies that provide the copper, the companies that provide the power, the energy, all of that stuff. Anyway, sorry, I'm really excited about this one, but let's take a look at BAI. So BAI, so right here, this here is the AI Innovation and Tech Active ETF. So this here is a US one, but nonetheless, this is one of the things I like to look. Low distribution. So when I've got a low distribution like this, if I want to hold this in my TFSA, I'm not super concerned. Yes, I'm going to lose 15% of it, but this is not going to be a fund. And let me pull this up, and you can sort of see you're getting this is a growth fund. This is a growth fund. The income is not that important. So just something to keep in mind with BAI. Now, Matrix is Canadian. They are a Canadian ETF, but they do hold a lot of US stuff, obviously. Yeah, it is in Canadian. All right. Larry says, I have OF roommates. Rent is cheap, and they're all clients now. Nice. Let's see. Michael says, thanks for asking the community about my rental costs. According to AI, I am below market for that size in Montreal, and especially Toronto and the Maritimes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like I mentioned with the Maritimes, like Halifax used to have half decent rents, but now, like, you get just a one-bedroom apartment in Halifax, you're probably going to pay $2,000 a month, and I don't know how anybody does it because the wages are not great in the Maritimes, so I don't know how they afford it. Ian says, I'm probably going to owe on my taxes this year, and I'm going to file late. Hope the penalties aren't too crazy. Yeah, now I get an extra month, which is nice because I'm self-employed, but yeah, what can I say? Scott, let's see. No disassemble. Johnny 5 alive. Hal 9000. Elaine's in the house with a hey all. Hey Elaine, how are you? Let's see. AI not wanting to be shut off. Basically the plot to 2001: A Space Odyssey. I'm a space nerd. I'm a space geek, a science nerd. You name it, I'm there. Pop culture, love it. But I have not seen that movie. I think I've seen every space movie there is, but I've not seen 2001: A Space Odyssey. I know all the references from pop culture. Like, I don't think so, Dave. I know all of it, but I haven't actually seen it. And that, yeah. Your AI ETF is the Matrix? Kind of. Well, let me just say, I kind of make some references to the Matrix in the video, because how can I not make how can I not? How can I not? All right. Yes, Satake. I love it. Propel does look interesting. Yeah, for a swing trade, I'm seeing some potential there. Should I invest in red pills or blue pills? Oh, which pill do you want? That's always a hard choice. I have an extra set of 40-pound dumbbells to get rid of. Well, mine actually go up to 50. So I'm at the halfway point right now. I've now got them set on 25. So today was the first day at 25. And I was like, oh boy, these are heavier. But what can I say? Jonathan, what is the best single ETF for growth plus income? The best single. Probably probably, this is going to be one of them. HDIV, I think, is definitely in the running for that. So, you know, you look at HDIV, they've been doing absolutely fantastic. But at the same time, it really boils down, like you got to, this is kind of one of these interesting things too. When you say for growth and income, what is the minimum amount of income? Because that does change the equation. So if somebody says for growth and income, I need an income of at least 10%. That's a different list than if somebody says I just need at least 5% on the income side. Then those are two completely separate lists. Gosh, maybe I should do like I should do a 5, 10, 5, 10, and well, do we want to do 15? I don't like going above 15, but that would be interesting. Yeah, I think I might. I think I might do something like that, Jonathan. Thank you. You just gave me an idea. Luke says, I sold a truckload of puts for Propel at $22, expire on March 20th. Happy to buy, happy to just make $2 premium per share. They now own a USA bank. Nice. All right, let's go to 75, says Mary. Yeah, let's go to 75. I agree. Where are we at right now? And you know what the funny thing is, guys? With Propel Holdings. So Propel Holdings, every time I hear them, I always think energy. Immediately, I think energy. We're at 62. So that's kind of that funny thing with Propel Holdings. But then, of course, I'm like, no, they're a holding company. All right. Michael says, speaking of rentals, I have had Kilm REIT for more than a decade and find it very stable and love the monthly dividend. Yeah, Kilm is... They're pretty stable. I mean, oh my God, it's hard. Most of the big cities, if you go looking for apartments, Kilm is one of the big names, one of the huge names for sure. Okay, Stu says, hi, Candace. Can you explain why CCOE and AEME have better returns than their underlying CCO AEM? All right. So let's start, and it's going to be the similar story. It's going to be a similar story for both. So obviously, when you are looking at them, CCOE, so that is holding Cameco. So Cameco being, of course, normally you would think normally that Cameco should do better than an ETF holding them. And typically that usually is the case. Now with CCOE, we have a few different things. We got some aggressive cover calls going on, and we got some leverage going in there too. So we got a situation here where, and I'd love to have the numbers in front of me, so I don't know how much of a difference I'm looking at. But this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking you've got the leverage on the CCCOE, so that is certainly helping with their growth. And here, let me actually, I want to pull up CCO first. Whoa, how did I get that? CCO. So when we look at Cameco, and let's just pull up the last year. Yeah, now this is kind of that interesting thing. So when we look at this, there's at least a little bit of explosive growth in there. So I'm thinking upside wise, there's definitely some loss of upside for sure with the covered calls, but that leverage is making up, and that leverage seems to be making it up a little bit better. So that's kind of where we're at. Now I would have to actually run the numbers, Stu, just to figure out exactly where this is all coming down to. Now, I just want to pull up one other thing here. Let's go to Google. All right, and we'll go to CCOE ETF. Here we go. All right, let's take a look here. And this is one of the harvest. All right, let's see here. Harvest. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Perfect. So let's just take a quick look here. Okay, yeah. One, you're definitely getting a very, this is kind of aggressive. So 34 cents a month. Yeah, that's pretty aggressive. I'm thinking they have to be at the money. And I think that's kind of where we're sort of seeing that. I don't know what the difference is, and that's the thing. I don't know if you know what the difference is, Stu. I'd like to know. But yeah, this is going to be at the money. It's going to be very aggressive. So I think it's a situation where it is. You will find from time to time situations where this type of thing will happen. But I think the leverage is kind of what's doing it. I'm going to give most of the credit to the leverage on this one. But yeah, it'll definitely be interesting. So I will, I want to actually, you know what I'd like to do? I would love to do this on Harvest one of these days. I would love to do a video where we look at all of these enhanced ones and compare it to the underlying asset. Probably once we've got a full year. Do we have a full year yet? I honestly, I don't know. I don't know if we do or not. Let me just see here. Duplicate the tab. And this time here, we're going to put in CCOE. I feel like we don't yet have a full year, but I think we're getting close. Let me take a look here. Oh, we're not even close. We're not even close. So yeah. All right, there we go. So yeah, there's a few different things that are definitely coming into play. One is it could even be a situation of timing. Like they may have just released this at the perfect place. And it looks like they may have. It looks like they released it and then they had a big bump immediately. So yeah, I need the data. I don't have data to make a definitive, but I'm gonna, like I said, let's go with the leverage on this one. Progressive says, good afternoon. Hey, Propel and Propel accessories. Paul says, should I do 60% HDIV and 40% QQCL or 50% split? QQCL, good yield, but it is not stable as compared to HDIV. So HDIV, and this is kind of one of the reasons I really like HDIV. HDIV is very stable. And there's a lot of reasons for it. One, they're not super aggressive. So HDIV is not, you obviously it's the underlying ETFs that determine how aggressive it is because that's where the covered calls are being written. But not all of them are super aggressive, which is good. There are some that are not. There's even one of the ETFs that they hold that was it HFIN that doesn't have covered calls at all. So they're getting full upside on some of it. And that is really helping. Plus, HDIV has a good speckling of financial companies as well as gold in there. And that has absolutely been buoying. There we go. Buoying. What a word that is. Whoever invented that word, I don't know. They certainly get a thanks from me. So yeah, the gold and the financials really helping push that number up. And I do like, now when we look at QQCL, I do like them. I like technology. I think technology has got a lot more to say. And, it's going to be one of those situations where we have to sort of wait and see. And kind of, we've been talking a little bit about Wednesday. Wednesday, we got those HDIV. I was going to say HDIV. We got the NVIDIA earnings coming out, and that's going to be really big. That's going to be huge. And we're going to see how the market replies to that. So 60% HDIV, that's not bad. That's not bad. I mean, I can think of a lot of ETFs that would be ones that I would be afraid if I had 60% in there. HDIV is not one of them. I do like them. But mind you, and this is where I throw that caution back to you, if we ever move into a situation, and I don't think that's going to happen in 2026 at all, where financials and things like gold start to really tank, that will certainly hurt HDIV a little bit. But I do like HDIV. HDIV actually did pretty good in the last bear market, so they have a good history. So definitely I like HDIV for sure. And I am a big fan of QQCL as well. I also like HHIS, but QQCL, well, the underlying, the QQCC, I rode them through the last bear market, and I was happy with them. Rory says SPB Propane sure crapped the bed on Friday. They did. 18% for Superior Propane down, but that was in earnings. That was earnings for sure. We looked at that on the weekend. Dorpat says, "Hi all, hope you are having a beautiful day. Just listened to the iced coffee hour, and this week was Chris Camillo. So insightful. Wishing us a better and uneventful vesting week ahead. I'm hoping for that. I'm hoping for that. Um, and this is the thing: if Nvidia does well, um, it'll be good. Like there'll be a ripple effect through tech stocks. So I'm kind of hoping, I'm really hoping they do well. But there's always a fear. There's definitely always a fear for sure. All right, Kelly says, I pronounce it propel, like propeller. Is propel some jargon that relates to what they do, or is it just a pronunciation difference? No, you're asking me for pronunciation advice? Oh boy, have you been watching the channel? No, I'm just kidding. No, that's interesting. I don't know why they call themselves propel. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I bet you they probably have a company under that they're holding that has the name Propel in it. And it's probably one of their bigger holdings, like maybe Propel Finance or something. All right, let's go look. Let's see if I can find this out. PRL, Propel Holdings, and let's see here. All right, let's see here. Propel Holdings, financial company, fast, transparent access to credit. Money Key and Credit Fresh, the Money Key brand. All right, well, yeah, it's not telling us anything here. I was hoping there was a Propel Finance in there, but yeah, I'm not sure why they went with that name. Why they, I have no idea. Following says age 23 with 10K in cash. Need a place to invest it where it's just not sitting collecting dust, but I need to pull it out when I want in case I need to continue paying for college. Okay. All right. So you're almost thinking you just want to sort of park it. If you want to be able to have access to it like really, really fast, and by fast, we're talking a few days, you've got a couple of options. So one, and this is all about your risk profile. So you could invest it in some safer blue chip type stocks, sure. But there's no guarantee, and that's the problem. And it sounds to me like you need this for college. So that might be a little bit more on the risky side, for sure. If you want 100%, I don't want to say 100%, but if you want something a lot closer to 100%, I would certainly think about maybe even like a cash ETF, so something like an NSAV or a PSA or a T-Cash, and they basically simply, it's a place that you park it, and you're getting a better return than if you put it in a savings account. So you're getting between 2 and 3% on it per month, and then it's just a matter of when you do need it, you would sell whatever you need. And it normally takes, because it takes extra day after you sell it to settle. So it would take a couple of days to move it back into your account. So that might be something to look into for that. And that's the thing. I mean, there's a lot of stocks that I think are pretty safe, but the reality is we don't know when the next bear market is. And you don't want to get into a situation if you have just enough money, so 10K, if that's your next 2 years of tuition and we go into a 2-year bear market, I don't think we're going to have one that long. I think the next bear market might be closer to a year, but you don't want to take you don't want to take a chance. You don't want to take a chance, not when you're looking at your education. You want to make sure that money is there when you need it 100%. So, I would go with like a cash ETF. That's how I would do it. You got to look at it though and evaluate it yourself as well, because that's kind of important. All right, Pathfinder, what are your thoughts on when to trim a business? Well, when that front lawn gets a little bit, you can't read the signs and everything is kind of growing everywhere, call the landscapers, get them in, trim it up, make your business look presentable. All right, no, I'm kidding. So, all right, when to trim? Are you talking about like a stock? Like if you're holding a stock for a business, I'm going to assume. There's a couple of ways you can sort of approach that. One is if that stock has done really, really, really well, and all of a sudden, you know, your 5% position is now a 6 or 7% position, that's not a bad time to trim. Take a little bit of profits off the table, work it back down to a, you know, a little bit closer to where you want to see it sitting in your portfolio. The other, and this is not the fun one, is sometimes there's just a, I think a lot of people like to call it catching a falling knife situation. And sometimes you do get a company that their fundamentals start falling apart. Maybe there's some scandals within the company and things are just absolutely, you know, so sometimes, and that's rare that it's that bad, but it can happen. So that might be another situation. Or if you want to just sort of look at it, and you might look at it and say, you know what? I got too many oil companies. I need to maybe trim one or two. That's fine. And that's another good reason. There's lots of good reasons to do it. The big thing is just don't do it based solely on emotion. Make sure you have a plan. So know what you're going to do ahead of time. So if you're going to say, okay, well, I'm going to sell, let's say you were holding London Gold and they're doing really well. So let's say you say, oh, I'm going to sell 1% of that position. I'll move it into maybe, you know, maybe you still want to maintain gold. Maybe you're like, you know what, I'm just going to move it over into like GLC. I'll get some income as well as maintain my exposure to gold. So that would be one other way that you could certainly look at doing it. All right, Brian says, just checking in for a few minutes. Got 90,000 on my spins today. Had 40,000 a week ago. Oh boy, it looks like Brian might be the one who wins in the community. Holy cow. Now, Scott says, I'm letting Brian spin for me now on. Yep, I think so. And Mary says, congrats, Brian. Oh boy, I think I need... Nice. Oh, that tastes so good. All right. Chuck says, has Wealthsimple launched their Norbit's Gambit? Sorta. It's in beta. So, and I think it's $9.95 to journal, but that's all I know so far on it. And guys, you'll notice the QQQ at the front of this comment. So as we get busy, I sometimes have to start skipping. So far today, I haven't skipped a single comment, but if you put a QQQ, if you have a question you really want me to answer, throw a QQQ on me. That way there, when I get to it, I will not skip it. Of course, if you really, really want to get a question answered and you don't want to wait, especially if like, well, right now, actually right now I'm only about 8 minutes behind. Actually 12. I'm about 12 minutes behind. So if you come in and you're like, I don't got the time, just do a super. If you do a super, I'll, you know, you'll jump the line. So the only danger to that, and I will be honest about this, is if I'm in the middle of a tangent, I may not see the super because I may be totally distracted. But I think I'm a billion times better at catching the supers when they pop up now than perhaps a year ago. All right, Xenial says Norbit's Gambit is worth it if you're converting more than the regular 1.5% FX fee Wealthsimple charges. So that makes it around 753 as the break-even point. Good point. And that's a really good point. Yeah, if you're going to convert like a lower amount, so like if you're only converting like, oh, I'm moving $200 over, you just eat the fees. Don't do Norbit's Gambit for that. You know, if I was going to do Norbit's Gambit, I would, for me, I probably would say I got to at least bare minimum be moving $1,000. Bare minimum. All right. And speaking of supers, Lance says 95 minutes in and no GOAT yet. Let's go, everyone. All right. Well, yes, that is a GOATable. That's a GOATable event. So that means the GOAT squad is in the building. We got our Monopoly GOAT, our evil Monopoly GOAT. So I have decided to stick with that one. We have the other one, but I just don't like the other one. But anyway, that's our GOAT for now, we have, and if you're new to the channel, every time we get a super, we got different goats, and we work our way in. We got a monopoly goat, and we got, well, I'm not going to spoil the surprises. We also have a goat that's going to be expiring very, very, like quite literally today. We have a goat that's expiring today. So that's our Olympics goat, because the Olympics is over. So I have to actually, you know what? Tomorrow I need to make a St. Patrick's Day goat. That's what I think we need. All right. Holy banana bread. Thank you very much, Lance, of course. All right. Now, let's see. Where were we at? Right over here. And Lance says, why do some investors hold multiple ETFs that provide identical or similar exposure? So example, XEQT, VEQT, or HHIC, HDIV. Is the difference in the way they perform enough to justify overexposure? It depends on how you're doing it, right? If you are, so when you look at something like XEQT, that pretty much covers a bit of everything. So it's kind of one of those rare ones that, you know, having XEQT and having VEQT, you're just getting, you're getting two versions of a really good thing. So I don't think it's that big of an issue. I don't think it's that big of an issue for those ones. Now, HHIC and HDIV, yeah, there's a little bit of difference here. So one of the big differences, obviously, HHIC much more aggressive with the covered calls. Also, HHIC much more limited, because the HHIC is holding individual ETFs that are single stock ETFs, sort of like HHIS, but in Canada. HDIV, much more expansive, much more expansive. So if anything, I don't know, I wouldn't really call it that big of a deal. But what I do say is it doesn't matter to me. Like if you want to hold 3 ETFs that pretty much hold the exact same thing, but they're from 3 different companies, just make sure that comes into your calculations when you're thinking about how you want the diversification in your portfolio. So maybe if you had, so let's actually say if you had 3 S&P, let's just use the S&P 500. So if you had 3 ETFs giving you exposure to the S&P 500, that's fine, but just keep in mind that you're adding that all up, and that you're making sure that that's how much exposure you want to the S&P 500. You might be one who says, I'm very bullish on the US company. I'm okay. If I get 50% exposure to the S&P 500, I'm great. And you're doing it through 3 ETFs? Okay, fine. It works. It can work. Just be sure that you're accounting for it. Be sure you're accounting for it. And the big thing is to be aware. If you're not aware of what your ETF is holding, and then you're kind of accidentally overexposing yourself, that's because you didn't do enough due diligence. So you want to always kind of get a general idea of what things are holding. Or, guys, let me show you. Blossom. Blossom's a great way to find out, because you can come into Blossom, and here, let's just go. And you can go over here on Blossom. They have this thing called Insights. So if you've got your portfolio entered into Blossom, whether, if it's Wealthsimple, you can just, you can have them import it. They can basically do an API call. It's a read-only version of your portfolio, or you can manually put it in. I manually, because they can't do it with National Bank yet. So once you're over here, if you scroll down here, this here is, well, this is your diversification. So right now you can see, looking at mine, and this is my 0 to 100K challenge, 26.5% is energy, 25.7 is industrial. So both of these are a little high. I kind of like to try to limit a sector at 20, but I know I'm a little heavy on energy and industrial right now. Materials 14.5, utilities 8, real estate 7.3, financials 5.4, healthcare 3.9. Now this is the one that really shocks me. I'm like, I need to get this one up. I want more exposure to technology. I'm sitting at 3.5 right now, so that I need that to go up. But yeah, you can use a tool like this to give yourself a general idea, especially if you have a lot of ETFs. At least that way there, let Blossom do the heavy lifting. Give you a general idea of what you're getting exposure to. So that's just one of the ways. And I think I don't know if passive will do that as well, but they might. But I'm not 100% sure. So you double check that. That's another thing where you can basically, I know passive does a lot of dividend stuff, but I don't know if it does any diversification stuff. All right. Brian says, I screenshot my spins to my son. I now have directing where I can go. Nice. All right. Chuck says, does Canny use ATM or OTM calls? If there are Canny alternatives that use OTM call, I don't mind a lower yield with a steady NAV growth. Okay, so Canny, and here's a really good way to look at this. So first of all, just look at Canny initially. If you just pull them up, and here we go. Here is Canny right here, and all right, now this yield is wrong. I'm going to say this right now. So, and this is simple. Let's find out what their yield really is. Because it's a new ETF, it's not a year old yet. A lot of sites will mess up because they're trying to do basically the trailing yield, so 12-month yield. So just take what they're paying out. In this case here, they pay out 21 cents. So I just grab my calculator, and I'm going to put in 21 cents, and they pay semi-monthly. So that's 24 payments. So that works out to $5.04 of payments. Now, if I take that and I divide it by 25.46, that's their price. That is going to give me 20%. So basically, they have a dividend yield of 20%. That's pretty high. So if it's over 15, I will tell you this, really, really, really good chance that it's at the money. So ATM. So at the money, that means that whatever. So right now, if they were writing, now obviously they don't write on Canny. They write on the individual assets that they're holding. So let's say, for example, if they were holding, here, let me pull it up. Let's say they were holding Enbridge. I'm just going to say Enbridge. So if they're holding a position in Enbridge, Enbridge is currently at $70.55. So what they would be doing is, and do I have it up here? I don't think I do. Let me, oops, sorry, let's go. I'm just going to type in Canva. It's easier than trying to find their link. There we go, whiteboard. Perfect. Okay. So I mentioned here Enbridge is at 70.55. So that's the current price on Enbridge. So when they write options, they're going to write it with a strike price of $70.55. And then they'll have a time frame as well. So the time frame, let's say it's 1 week. All right. So because it's already qualified. So the person who buys this option, they can cash it in immediately if they want to. They've already won the trade. They've already won. So as a result, you have much higher premiums, which is why you can have higher yields. That's why you can be above 15%. Now, the person who buys this, though, they may not sell it. Because honestly, if they sell it right now, if they cash this in and take these shares, they're taking them at a loss because they're paying that premium, that higher premium. So the person who's grabbing this, they're hoping that the price goes up, and then that'll decide when they're going to cash it in. And that's, if it goes up, let's say it went up to, let's just say they had a really great week. Let's say they went up to $71. Well, in this case, yeah, they could cash it in. So they'll get all these $71 shares, and there might be 1,000 of them. And they'll get them all for $7.55. So they've now made 45 cents on every single share. And depending on what this premium is, let's say this premium was 25 cents on every share. Well, in that case, they've now made 20 cents on every share. That's kind of the way options work. Now, for the company, well, they've capped. So their upside is gone right away. So there's no upside. And here, I'll just draw one of those. So there's no upside. Well, yes and no. When I say this, there is some upside because they're not writing covered calls on 100%, right? I don't know what it is for, what are we looking at here? Canny? Is Canny 33? They're either 33 or 50. Let's just assume that they're 33. So if they're doing 33% covered calls, that's no upside on 33%. The other 66.66666, whatever, they're going to still have full upside on it because those ones are not part of the contract that comes out. So yeah, Canny, definitely at the money. And the funny, interesting thing is when you look at Canny, or actually, yeah, just we'll leave that as it is. Now, if you're looking for an alternative that uses OTM, something like HDIV, or let me show you somebody else. This here, all right, ECHI. This is the 9-point enhanced Canadian high shares ETF. Let me show you. Since they launched, look at this. They've gone from $10 to $12. Why? Because they're not aggressive on their covered calls. Now you're still getting, a nice yield. Like, this shows 14.73, but once again, we don't have a full year. So I would probably, you know what? Let's, I did it for Canny. Let's do it for this one as well. Now, this one is not paying you semi-monthly. They're just paying you monthly and 15 cents. So this time it's 15 times 12 and divided by 12.215. It's actually exactly 15. So they're not that far off. But yeah, so right now their yield is right at 15. So I don't like it when they go above 15. But obviously, when you look at the amount of growth that we're getting here, there's no way you would be getting this much growth if you were at the money, because that would be pulling you back. So they are obviously giving some room for that, for some upside. And I've talked to the guys over at 9 Point, and their whole philosophy is not to be that aggressive. So that's why you're getting a lot of growth in here. So that's an option. So ECHI. HDIV is another option too. HDIV is doing fantastic, and you're getting some good dividends on that as well. So there are options. Even HHIC. Now HHIC is more aggressive than this. So you are getting a bigger yield with HHIC. But you'll also notice too that they as well have been doing really, really well. And when you look, their distribution yield, once again, it's short, so it's probably going to be close. I would say HHIC and ECHI are pretty comparable, but I do think they're being a little more aggressive on the covered calls with HHIC than they are at ECHI, but I can't wait. Actually, I'd love to do a head-to-head on these two once they hit that 1 year, because, oh boy, I think they're both going to be really, really good. All right, what's everyone's thoughts on Propel Holdings? Yeah, our thoughts are there, that's for sure. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to play them. And here's the interesting thing. We did look at them. So this is kind of, this is kind of where they're at. They're kind of in a channel, a little bit of slop in the middle. I don't like the slop, but it does really look like they're probably going to turn around, and they might be able to make a move up here. So they're interesting. I'm looking at them and I'm thinking, yeah, I like them. I do like them for that reason. But I don't know, because they could always break out of this, and that's the problem. I don't like that slop. That slop sort of eats at my confidence. I like to see more clear cut. But we'll see. Scott says, my financial advisor was trying to sell me on a GIC that can be withdrawn from on a monthly basis, but the return is like 2.5%. Oh, interesting. That's not bad. It's about the same as what you're going to get with a cash ETF. So yeah, it's not a bad option. Other than I have a feeling though, I have a feeling that your financial advisor might be making some money on that. But not to say, and I want to be clear, guys. So sometimes I say some bad things about financial advisors. It's not all of them. I always look at it this way. If you've got a financial advisor who works for one of the big six, for example, they're going to try to steer you towards some higher feed mutual funds and ETFs. Um, so yeah, I actually, if they work for BMO, you might be in luck because BMO does have a lot of good ETFs. I'm sure that they could push you towards. But a lot of the big six, they do have they still like them mutual funds, even though they are going to cost you a bit more money. Andy says recently had a talk a family out of Primerica. One thing our government needs to do is make harder laws to prevent these thieves from existing in Canada. Yeah, a lot of these. There's a lot of lenders like I'll call them predatory lenders. Obviously, the worst are like Money Mart and all of those all of those ones where you're pretty much well with something like Money Mart. You get your payday loans. They charge you a crazy interest rate, and the reality is, by the time you pay back the loan and the interest that you're paying on it, you're kind of in a position that you almost need to get another one to survive the next month. So they can pull you in to the point that you kind of become a ongoing customer because you just can't get caught up. So I don't like that. I'd actually like to see more regulation. I'd love to see the government come in and put caps on what kind of interest these things can charge, like smaller caps. There might be caps already, but I would like to see reasonable caps on them. And yeah, and then also Primera. Yeah. What's your thoughts on OLY? That's Olympia, I think. Let's take a. I haven't looked at them in a while. Here we go. Olympia, there we go. Olympia Financial Group. So once again, another one of these for sure. Now this one here, like they've actually done pretty good when you sort of look at them from the 3-year. They've had a lot of movement to the upside, so that's always kind of nice. They also have a half decent dividend, so 6%, not too bad. Now in terms of predatory lending, I don't know. I don't know how bad these guys are. I don't think these guys are that bad, actually. You know, from my understanding, I don't consider them to be predatory lenders, but they have like it's actually interesting. If we go back even further, at one point, look at this. They were like $44. This is going back 5 years, but they've absolutely exploded. So yeah, I've got nothing. I've got no problems with them for the most part. Doorpat says pro trip for Quest Trade users. I signed up for free 30 days of the plus version, which gives you unlimited journaling. Did my conversions in multiple accounts and canceled, but you could keep if you trade. That's a good trip. That's a good tip. I imagine you can only do it once though. But if you've just moved over and you've just started an account and you've got all you need to get your US side going and you got a lot of money to move over, maybe this is not a bad idea. Maybe not a bad idea. PP says, sorry, I missed the first part. What do you mean by goodbye Olympics? Oh, the Winter Olympics are done. This is, we got the closing ceremonies and all of that coming out here this weekend. So, yeah, that's what I meant by that. It's just, hey, it was fun while it lasted. And, of course, as a Canadian now, we're kind of glad it's over now that we lost to the U.S. Oh, silver's just not good enough. It's still awesome. I just wish we had won. Luke, I sold all my tech back in November, looking to jump back into Microsoft. Looking at the chart, are we at support level? What do your tea leaves say? Microsoft. All right, let's take a look here at Microsoft. All right, I don't know if I still have them on this side. I don't think I do. I think I moved everybody. I think I did. Yeah, I did. I moved everybody. Let's go over here. All right, so here's Microsoft, and don't mind the pricing on this because I am using, this is the CDR, but they both move exactly the same. So this is kind of this thing with Microsoft, is I've been sort of looking to sort of figure out what's going on. Are they at the bottom? I think they are. I think they are. Like, I've been looking to see if I could make a small channel in here that doesn't even look like it's working, but if you sort of look at here, I think this is a strong level of support where we're at right now. So I can see, now here's the beautiful thing. If things go well with the NVIDIA, like this is another company, Microsoft's a company that will certainly benefit from NVIDIA doing good on Wednesday. So we could see some interesting movement. So this is what I'm watching. I am in a swing trade with them, because I got in, back here. I've been averaging down. I don't know where I'm at right now on this one, but I've been averaging down as it's been going down. But this is one that I want to get out of this week. I would like to. Yeah, you see, here's a possibility too. Like, we don't have enough data yet, but we could potentially move into a nice little channel like this. But right now, if that's the case, what we've got right now is we've got a little bit of slop at the bottom. So we'll have to see how this works out. Right now, I really want to see Wednesday. I really want to see what happens on Wednesday. Have you had a chance to look into oil, gas, and the near-term outlook? Oil right now we're kind of on that cusp of what's going to happen with Iran. So if the U.S. attacks Iran on the weekend, and if it turns out to be bigger than expected, we can definitely see some movement on oil. But overall, let's remove that from the equation. I still think we're going to see a little bit better movement on oil this year. So I see this year as being an up year for oil, but I'm not expecting it to be a banner year. I'm expecting it to be a slow, steady kind of move up. So we'll definitely see. Any ultra yield fund? Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Anything in the ultra yield fund over there at Evolve, 100% at the money. 100%. Primaria wants an investment firm, but relies on customers to do pyramid scheme tasks. Yeah, I despise anything that's that's pyramid-like. Other than the actual pyramids, I think those are cool. But yeah, I mean, anytime you have to recruit people to come in to sell things, and sometimes they have other names for it nowadays, like, but it all boils back to a pyramid scheme. So yeah, no way. Bismarck, he says, Norway won the Olympics. Did they really? I haven't actually seen the medal count. I have not seen the medal count, but I'm kind of curious. Really? All right, let's look at the medal count. I want to look. All right, medal count. Winter Olympics 2026. There we go. Let's see what we got. Holy banana bread. Norway. Look at that. 18 golds, 12 silvers, 11. Canada way down here at 11. Yep, 5 golds, 7 silvers, 9 bronze. Oh, that should be a 6. Actually, really, that should be a 7. The women should have won too. But, oh well, what can I say? Scott says Norway, no way. Norway skaters are like Kenya runners. Well, I mean, you got to look at it. Norway it's a pretty cold country. They have Canada weather, so like Canada should be doing better. I think Canada should be doing better than 21. Now I don't know what we did the last Olympics. I know we did pretty good in Vancouver, but when you're the host country, you do tend to do pretty good. Chad says playing the oil to picked up 100 shares of Oxy Friday. Fingers crossed. There we go. Pathfinder, Propel is releasing earnings that included the government shutdown. A lot of their customers relied on the government checks to pay loans. Long term, they're golden, in my humble opinion. You're probably right. Let's see. Who remembers pyramid power and people wearing pyramids on their heads? Oh, gosh. I actually went to, I did a tour of a winery in, oh, was it in Kelowna? I think it was in Kelowna. And it's a pyramid-shaped wine, where they held the wine that was in the pyramid. So they had this big pyramid on their winery, and they were during this thing they were talking about the pyramid power and how it makes their ice wine taste better. And I was just like, oh my God, are you really saying this? But yeah, apparently. So any of you from the BC area or at least the Kelowna, you might know what I'm talking about. You might know what I'm talking about. There's a pyramid. I wonder if we can find it here. I'm kind of curious now. Uh, pyramid. Here we go. Pyramid. Whoops. Let's actually spell it right. There we go. All right. Allow. I don't care about pyramid pizza. Pyramid ice wine. There we go. Let's just see here if I can get this over. Summerhill Pyramid. Yeah, there it is, right there. Summerhill Pyramid Winery in Kelowna, BC. I wonder if there is. I'm just going to click on this. Let's click on some images. Yeah, here's their pyramid. Check it out. I'll just click on it here. Can I get this bigger? Sort of. Oh, yeah, look, and we got a little thing. Yeah, I did a tour of this winery. So there we go. Summerhill Pyramid Winery in Kelowna. In Kelowna. All right. I love it that we found it. Let's see. It's not a pyramid scheme. Oh my God. Some people are uneducated. Well, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, guys, we got a brand new member, Awit, joining the team, becoming part of the, I guess we're releasing the goats. So it's kind of like, it's like goat squad stuff. And we've got in number 2 position, we have our bell goat, our Bay Street goat for sure. Absolutely. Thank you very much, Awit. You will now be able to watch videos one day early. And, tomorrow, we also have an extra live stream tomorrow. So we have our market close that we're going to do tomorrow. But tomorrow night at 7 o'clock is office hours. So it's an hour. It's a chill one. It's like we don't come in. I don't bring anything. It's like I turn down the energy. We don't really turn the lights down, but it's going to be fantastic. Andy says Edmonton has pyramids. And there's also a pyramid in Memphis, Tennessee. Salt Spring Island has a Stonehenge. Okay. I was not aware of that. Maybe there's a whole bunch of these things all over the place. Guys, what's going on? Holy banana bread. Okay, let's see. Made me think of Spinal Tap. Is that a... I know there was a movie named Spinal Tap, and I think there was also a band named Spinal Tap as well. That's kind of cool. Bismarcky, there is a Bass Pro Shop in Memphis, Tennessee. I left and couldn't find my car. Who knew they had 2 exits? Thought my car was stolen. Oh, yes. It's funny. Actually, a funny car story is... my aunt, one of my aunts, she was getting a little forgetful. Well, my mom was waiting for her outside the gas station, so she went in to buy something, and somebody pulled up a completely different colored car behind my mom. My mom moved ahead just a little bit. My aunt came out and got in this other person's car. It took her a couple moments to figure out that she was not where she was supposed to be. But, hey, these things happen. I guess, sure, I think my mom's car was kind of a shade of red, and this other car was like gray. It's like, sure, I could see it happening. I don't know, unless your mind was just not thinking about it. But what can I say? Exits, yeah. It happens. It happens. We have these weird things. The thing that catches me though is, there was a bowling alley in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, and one of their walls was a giant mirror, like a giant mirror. And quite literally, I was there with a friend and we were bowling. And after we finished bowling, We were walking towards, well, where the mirror was. And I didn't know there was a mirror there. And as we kept walking closer and closer, I'm just like, those two people are coming straight at us. And we quite literally almost walked straight into the mirror by the time, like, we only stopped because these people were about to hit us. And then we realized that those people were us. It was just like, I was just like, whoa. And the person there, one of the, I don't know, waiter, waitress or something, she's like, you guys don't know how often this happens. We're like, yep, put a plant or something in front of it. I don't know. Scott, all right, probably more of a thing these days with Uber. Yeah, I think Uber, probably, yeah. 10 more minutes until Comex starts updating. Ooh. let's see what we get. Let's see what we get. Spot price is already going. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't get too obsessive. Like, obsessive. There's a great word. Obsessive. I don't get too obsessive. I always look at it this way. Like, when I come into the office in the morning, I will. I'll check out the futures. I'll see where things are going. Usually, I still have plenty of time to make any plans. I just look at it this way. Like, I could look tonight. I could look at Comey. I could look at like the markets opening in China, for example. I just don't, to be honest. I mean, why? I'm like, why bother? I'll find out in the morning where things are going because I would rather just have a good night's sleep. Like, especially if the market decides to tank. Even if the market decides to tank, that wouldn't bother me too much. It's just more or less like, ooh, there's going to be some buying opportunities tomorrow. And I got, I got that $25 from Scott in my Wealthsimple. I got to spend. So, maybe a red morning would be a good thing. A Pathfinder, it's hard to get out of the way of ourselves sometimes. Oh, you just went deep. You went deep. It's like, I have to, if I want to talk to Pat, well, there we go. I was going to say I have to climb up like the top of a mountain or something. I'd have to find a path. That would make me a pathfinder, right? Sort of like when I clean my vacuum, I become a vacuum cleaner. Just saying. Just saying. Those are deep thoughts. Deep thoughts. Oh gosh. All right, guys, we're not there yet, but we're getting closer to the end. We're past the 2-hour mark. If you guys got your final questions, get them on in. I mean, you can ask more than one. I don't want to make it sound like you've each only got one more question you can ask. Ask as many as you want. Obviously, if you guys keep the questions going, I tend to stick around, and I lose track of time all the time. Normally, we finish these about 2 hours and a half. I think the longest we've gone on this week is we actually had one show where you guys were just asking so many questions. I think we went 3.5 hours once on one of these, but because I know when I came downstairs and Joe was like, your supper's cold. I'm like, okay. But that's what a microwave is for, so I look at it that way. And I am kind of curious. I like to get to 70 likes. For me, 70 likes is a sweet spot. I don't know where we're at. I'm just going to go over here and click it, and we're going to see, did we get to the 70? Oh, yeah, we crushed it. We're sitting at 81. All right, I'm not going to complain anymore. And it's funny, there's only 72 people here left, but obviously, a stream this long, people come, maybe they catch a half hour, maybe they catch an hour, maybe they leave, all of that fun stuff. So that's kind of cool. 82. Oh, well, there we go, Bismarcky. I love it. Oh, Alvo Petro. Let's see. Has said at $70 Brent, they have 100% IRR. I'm not sure what that means, though. Can you help fill me in? IRR. I'm not sure what IRR is. Okay. At $70 Brent, they have 100% IRR. You know what? I have absolutely no idea what they mean by IRR. Let me just take a look here. Oil IRR. Let's see. Look at the first one. Oil irritates my scalp. Oh, that's great. Oh, here, look, oil RRR. Oh, internal rate of return. Okay, all right, that's what that is. So there we go. So internal rate of, well, here's actually the formula right here. So it's equal to the future value over the present value. All right, fine. So it's basically just a calculation just to sort of give them a general idea of how much something is worth. Yeah, it's just a formula. So obviously, if you look at this, so the future value, if your present value goes up, obviously, if the future value is lower, and then yeah, it just gives you a statistical number, to be honest. There is some speculation in it, obviously, because of future value. That is something you have to drive. Kind of like, for example, when we do a discounted cash flow model. So there are assumptions that you're making. And that's one of the downsides that, yeah, you can make an assumption and you take something like this, the future value, especially if you're thinking, when you're looking at one over the periods, that could be like, for example, that could be a year. Maybe you're looking at a year time frame. There's so many things that can happen, especially with oil and black swan events. I've never put a lot of stock into an IRR value, to be honest. Yeah, and look, Abby is coming in. Internal rate of return. Exactly. Obviously, they're putting a bit more faith into it. I would say, I think the price of Brent will go up. So I think their number should be fine. But when we look at Alvo, let's actually look at Alvo Petro. All right. ALV, and that they're on the V, so there we are. Perfect. All right. And when we take a look, I'm going to pull a 1 year on them. So they have, they've been doing fantastic. So that's kind of cool. So I do like what they've been doing, and I don't even know why they would be concerned. I think they're going to be fine. Heck, in the last year, you're looking at, well, technically that's a lower high to this one, but for the most part, higher highs. They're moving pretty good. And I think we looked at them a couple days ago, and you'll notice we do get a little bit of a retreat here on the other side, and that's normal. We'll probably get a little bit of a retreat before they build up again. So I do like Alvo Petro, and they have also, just to point out, they've got a pretty half decent dividend. So we're looking at 6.849%. That's not too shabby at all. It is quarterly, and it's also in USD. So you do get companies occasionally. So anytime you get a company that pays in USD, that gets converted back and it comes into your account. Actually, an interesting thing is if you look at past dividends. So if you're doing a calculation, and this is one of the things that I would do. So in a case like this company, if I'm doing my total return calculations, well, everything here is like, all of their prices. So $8.05 is in Canadian. It's in Canadian, right? So if I'm getting, TMX is giving me what they're paying out in USD because they pay in USD. But here's the thing, if you want to do an accurate conversion, if I come in and look at the key data, it'll show me 10 cents, 2 cents, 10, 10, 10, 9, 9, 9, 9. That's all USD. So what I'll do in a case like this, and I'll just go over here to Olympia, and we're going to go to Yahoo. If I go to Yahoo Finance, and this is kind of a neat little thing. All right, and we're going to go Alvo, ALV. Let's see here, Alvo Petro. Come on, give me Alvo Petro. No, you're not going to give me. All right, let's go -V. I think that'll do it. Or it won't. All right, Alvo PET. There we go. Oh, they actually did do just a .V. All right, so I'll go over here to Yahoo, and if I go into the historical data, and I will do dividends, you'll notice these numbers are different because they do the conversion for me. So I don't have to figure out what was the conversion rate on September 29th. When I'm pulling that data, I can come over to Yahoo in that case, and they've already done the conversion for me. So I will know that they paid out 13.9 cents opposed to 10 cents. So that's one quick way to do it. Oh boy. Scott says I asked the A word. What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? Holy banana bread. First off, why? Um, second off, what was the answer? All right. Chuck says, I have no USD stock on my TFSA, but I keep getting USD payments from stock lending. Oh, do you? Oh, that's interesting. Um, that's really interesting. I don't know why that would be. I quite honestly, I've turned off the lending because it's it just isn't, it's not like the you're going to get a lot of money from it unless you happen to have a lot, but USD payments, I find that odd. I find that a little odd that they're doing that. Unless, no, I was gonna say, I mean, if you're holding a Canadian stock that pays U.S. dividends, but why would that? I don't know why that would come in. You got me at a loss. You got me at a loss on this one, Chuck. I have no clue. But that is interesting. All right, Prairie says this time last year I transferred RRSP money in kind to Wealthsimple. I invested one half in VDY and one half in VFV, but I hear from some VFV is not the best. Others say it makes no difference. Thoughts? Better options. All right, so half in VDY. So, VDY, first of all, that one is Canadian. So what is it? Canadian FTSE dividend or high dividend, something like that. And then VFV. But I hear, yeah. So one of the interesting things with VFV that I have heard recently is that when you compare its performance to the S&P 500, it falls a little bit short. It falls a little bit short, and that is concerning for sure. So, and I know when I haven't figured this out yet why. Obviously, you have a management expense ratio, and it should definitely fall short from that. But you also have to look too that VFV, it's not like it's buying everything that's in the S&P 500, and it's also it's also not equal. So I don't know why they have fallen a little bit short, but for the most part, they do tend to be pretty good. So I don't know. If you want a min maxi, then you might look at it and say, well, no, but I'm okay with it. And guys, we just went to nighttime because that's why it changed to black. My computer automatically goes to night mode. Um, yeah, so I mean, if you want something different than VFV, and this here, obviously VFV, you're looking at it as a growth dividend. Um, there's quite a few that are there, but I don't think VFV is that bad. You might even look at even some of the Hamilton champions are not bad. I would still run the math though, compare the two, see which one is, because you now have they have close to, I think they have a year now, the Hamilton champions. So you could run champions versus VFE and see which one would have been the better option in the year. And maybe that might be something to have that might make you decide one way or the other. Yeah, that's a good question. What stock is doing it? Is it multiple stocks? That'd be a good thing to know for sure. Because I'll tell you, that is weird. That's something I definitely haven't heard of for sure. Oh boy. Oh, and guys, if you're new to the channel, I just want to point out something here as well. We do have a Discord. Let me give you the link here. All right, here we go. Here's a link to the Discord. Now, where is the Discord? Here it is, right here. Where am I at? Yeah, so here is our Discord. There's a lot of stuff in here, but there's a couple of things I think that are really interesting in here. Like we do have a schedule if you want to come in and sort of get an idea of what's going on. In fact, while we're here, this one's already done. Well, mostly done. We're almost there, but there we go. So you can sort of see. It gives you an idea. So we got a market close coming up tomorrow, and we got the office hours. Then there's going to be a video. Now tomorrow, the market close will have an opportunity to add a show for Tuesday. So I may have to add another one in there, but you know, this way here you can sort of see I try to keep it as up to date what we're doing. Obviously, I don't know yet what all of the videos are, but I actually do know. Actually, I do know a little bit. So, guys, I know, for example, that this video here is going to be about rock. I'm just going to put rock and covered calls. So, and I also know that this video right here is going to be, all right, there we go. So we got a couple of them already in there. Yeah, so anyway, just check that out. Feel free. Feel free in here. If you want to address me directly, just call me out. I think you just put an at or whatever, an at sign or something. The other big thing about the Discord, guys, just to sort of point this out, is that we get a lot of scammers that come in, and I don't know if there's any new ones. I've checked this the other day, but let's just take another look here. Nope, no new ones. No new ones, but we do get them in here occasionally. You'll get like a Mountain Finance that'll reach out to you, and if you look at the name, it's probably spelled wrong. Like there's probably maybe an extra I or something. Well, here, let me show you one. If we go over here to our spam, we got our scammer alerts here. So yeah, here's one right here. So look at this one. There's 2 F's in finance. So they steal my picture. They try to pretend to be me. They'll reach out to you and say, "Oh my God, I got a great deal," or hey, if you want to sink some Bitcoin into this project I'm doing, you'll get huge returns. I don't know how they do it, but don't ever fall for it. I'm never going to reach out to you on Discord and ask you for some Bitcoin. Never gonna happen. So what I normally will say, guys, is when you join the Discord, feel free to invite me to be your friend. Never accept a friend request from me, though. Never, ever, ever. I'm never going to send you one, but I'm more than happy to be your friend, and I will accept every request. So that way there, if you send me a request, I accept it. Then if some other Mountain Finance tries to message you, you'll instantly say, "Oh, this one's not on my friends list. It's not the real Candace. It's a fake." Oh, and feel free to, to report them to, or if you really want to, you can call them a big old phony, whatever you want to, or you can use, colorful metaphors. I don't care. All right, now, do you believe copper has room to run? Yes, I do. I think, well, first of all, there was a story that broke not that long ago where OpenAI said that, or sorry, OpenAI, I think it was NVIDIA. NVIDIA mentioned that they had overestimated their copper needs. But nonetheless, the reality is copper is heading towards a shortage. So yeah, on the long term, copper is going to definitely run. Are they going to run this year? Maybe a little. I think they're going to keep pace with whatever the other materials are going. But I'm still very bullish, especially on the long term with copper. And I do love that AG. I do love my AGCC for sure. All right, Scott says, sorry, half paying attention. Did you answer VFV in the RRSP versus VOO in the RRSP because it saves withholding tax? We weren't even talking about VOO at all. But yeah, so VOO, that's basically the US version of VFV, and it comes with a 15% withholding tax, unless you're holding it in your RRSP, in which case that withholding tax is not pulled out. So that's a nice little thing. But that's another part of the VFV when you're comparing its performance to the S&P 500. Even though you're not paying withholding tax because it's Canadian, Vanguard is paying a little bit of withholding tax on some of the dividends that are within that. But that happens on the other side. That doesn't happen to, nothing happens to what you're expecting to get. All right, let's see here. King of Day, VFV is an S&P 500 fund and absolutely amazing. I believe people are currently hating on it because the international markets are outperforming the US. Yeah, there's that too, absolutely. Like, I've got no problems with VFV. Like I said, I think in a lot of cases people are splitting hairs. And there's a lot of people out there. These are the same people that will not grab an ETF because they think the management expense ratio is too high, even though this is an ETF that's giving them covered calls and it's giving them leverage and it's giving them incredible returns. There's still people that'll say, nope, won't touch it. I'm not paying that much in fees. Well, everything comes in fees. Even if you get a stock, if you go and grab a stock, any stock, Enbridge, yeah, there's no management fee. Yeah, there's no fees that you see, but guess what? It costs money to run Enbridge. All of that gets deducted from, everything that they're making. So the fees are still there. It's just got a different name. It's just basically the way cash flow works. So there's always going to be a fee. Just some companies are upfront about it. Or in this case, ETFs are upfront because they have to be. Well, to a certain extent, like you'll notice if a ETF is less than a year old, they're not even allowed in Canada to have to report a management expense ratio. And they're also not allowed to publish their performance data. So it's kind of an interesting situation for sure. Oh, guys, I'm almost out of coffee. Oh, no. Prairie says, I understand the withholding tax matter, but I counter that with the cost of exchange and FX fee for VU. In the end, I see it as a wash. Okay, but that's a question. In the end, I see it as a wash? I don't know. I like VFV. If somebody comes to me and they're brand new, they're young, and they're just looking like, I just want a quick little ETF. I don't want to have to do anything. VFV is normally one of the ones I will bring up. That and also XEQT, of course. So, I do like it. I like it. I think King a Day is absolutely right on that one. Scott says, why would you convert to CAD in the RRSP unless you're withdrawing? Why would you? Well, I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're looking at, so yeah, because you could have a USD RRSP as well as a CAD one. Yeah, I wouldn't be converting back and forth. Like, I like the idea, like if I'm holding a CAD and a USD one, I like the idea of just, funding the USD one and leaving that money there. You shouldn't be going back and forth all the time. Just leave that money there. When you sell something in USD, leave it there as USD and, invest in another USD account or something. That's kind of how I would look at it. Prairie says, I'm not thinking of retirement. Okay, there we go. Just do Norbert's Gambit, preparing for retirement. Can you do Norbert's Gambit with a CDR? No, you cannot. Norbert's Gambit, there's a couple of very specific ETFs that you have to invest in because there has to be a US and a Canadian version of it. That's how it works. If with a CDR, CDRs are Canadian instruments, so you don't have a US version of a CDR. So there's a couple of, I think there's two, and I can't remember oh my God, it's been so long since I've looked at it. Somebody help me out. What's the name of that ETF that they use? Especially, well, they use it a lot on Questrade, and I assume it'll be the same one that's being used on Wealthsimple, but I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. I think there's a P in it, but I'm not 100% sure. Now, if you want to see how to do it, I will always refer everybody over to Canadian in a T-shirt. If you do Norbert's Gambit, oh, it's not a P, it's DLR. That's the one. There we are, DLR and DLR.U. Yeah, so there's the one that people tend to use is DLR. And like I said, if you want to see how to do it, I will usually refer people to Canadian in a T-shirt. Just do Canadian in a T-shirt and Questrade, and he's got a pretty good one there. He's got a really good walkthrough for it. You can also do it on National Bank as well, by the way. Scott, would you sell the CDR and buy DLR and convert to DLR.U? Well, you would have to in this case. Well, I don't know. It depends on what you're doing with your CDR, but obviously whatever money that you want to move over. So let's say, for example, you got $10,000. Well, you would buy $10,000 versus DLR. You would then journal it to the American version, and then you would sell it. And then that would leave you with whatever obviously the exchange rate still comes into effect. So that might leave you with what? I don't know, 8,900 or something like that of USD sitting in that account, which you would then use to buy whatever US equities that you were interested in. Equities or ETFs, of course. Yeah, and King a Day as well. DLR.dlr.u, all of that fun stuff. Holy banana bread. All right. Well, guys, I think we're at the end. We've hit our 2 hours and 30-minute mark. We are back tomorrow once again. We got a market close at 3:30 Eastern, and we've got office hours tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern as well. And if you're a channel member tomorrow, you'll be able to watch, you'll have the first look at the rock covered call video that's coming out. And the rest of you will be able to see that on Tuesday. All right. Guys, holy banana bread. This has been another good show. You guys always rock as usual. So we will, like I said, we'll be back again tomorrow. And before I go, I did have a couple of things I wanted to say. Oh yeah,